Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Graybeard Garage. My name is Matt, and today we're out here working on our 2005 Chevy Avalanche, which you saw in the previous video. We're working on taking the transmission out. Today we're going to get under here. We have a transmission jack down here out of sight, and we're going to roll that up under there. We have to take our cross member out, and then we have to take our bolts out, the mounting bolts for the transmission, and it should come away at that point. I think I've got everything else removed that needs to be removed. So we're going to get under here, we're going to get this jack under, make sure that the jack can reach the transmission, just because I do have the truck on jack stands right now because I'm working out in Pebble driveway. But anyway, we will work on getting that done. So we got to take the cross member down, get the Y pipe out of the way, which is already unbolted. We just got to move it out of the way, and then we can unmount the transmission. So let's get to work. Alright guys, so this is my transmission jack. It's from Harbor Freight. It has a 21.5-inch lift capacity, and I think this is the 1,000-pound lift. Anyway, we're gonna roll that up under there, make sure that we can get the lift up to the transmission. If not, I'm gonna have to get the jack out and lower the truck on the jack stands so that it'll touch the transmission. But I'm gonna jump under there real quick and take a measurement and see if we're close. Alright guys, so we went underneath and we're about 4 inches or so too tall. So the jack's not gonna be able to reach the transmission. So I'm gonna have to get the jack out, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to lower the truck down so that this jack will reach the transmission. But I think what I'm going to do before that is I'm going to take a few of the bolts out of the transmission mount, and then get this, start working on loosening up this cross member under here too. So I'm going to go grab some tools and start working on that, and I'll drag the jack out, and we got to lower this down probably 4 inches or so, which doesn't sound appealing, because then when I drop it down low, I'm gonna have to jack it back up to get the transmission out from under the truck. So let's have some fun. Alright, so to gain my lift that I need, I've gone ahead and basically it's back on the ground, so I'm gonna have to crawl up under it and I guess basically deal with it on the ground. So I guess I'll go lower the back, because it's still up in the air, as you can see. Lower the back down, and then we'll see if we can crawl under there and start pulling stuff apart. Okay, so I lowered the back down a little bit. It's not all the way to the ground, but it's down a few inches. I should be able to reach the transmission, and I gotta drag them. Gotta drag the transmission jack up under there. Then I gotta find a strap somewhere so that I can put a strap over it so it doesn't fall off on me. So I'm gonna go look in the shed and see if I can find a transmission strap. Alright guys, so here we are under the truck. I believe this is a 21mm. Yep. So those 21mm, we're gonna pull those two out, and then we'll go over there and we'll pull those two out. And then in the process, I think when this comes down, the Y pipe's coming with it. So I just got to be careful to not get pinched by that. So I'll probably do this off camera since it's just me and my tripod won't fit under here. So let's see what happens. Alright guys, so here we are back under the truck. We've got our cross member out. That wasn't too bad. It's a 21mm bolt head and a 21mm nut on the back side over here. So you're gonna need, I used a deep socket 21 for this side because there was about that much thread hanging out the back, and then I just used my impact with a short 21mm on it there. Came down no problem, very easy. I do have the Y pipe out. That took a little more muscle power to force that back into place. But now we're ready to go ahead and start working on the transmission here. And as you can see, there's a series of bolts and a nut here that kind of go all the way around and then up towards the top. Some of the older transmissions had a nut on the very top of the transmission. Fortunately, this one does not, because those are terrible to get to. So anyway, we're going to go ahead now and we're going to start unmounting the transmission. So hopefully I'll have this thing out here in just a little bit. Okay guys, so these are 15 millimeter. They do go all the way up. There's one up at the top. So I'm going to have to reach that from coming back behind the tail, and probably using an extension to get that. I think there's one on the other side up towards the top up there too. So yay, that'll be fun. And so let me go ahead and get started on that. Alright guys, see how good I can get this, but up in here there is like 2 studs back there. There's one, and then there's one below it. One holds your dipstick on, and that's with a 13 millimeter. When you pull your dipstick off, there's a 15 millimeter bolt behind it, and that is actually what is holding the transmission to the block. There is a bolt up top. I don't think I can show you what that looks like. Let's see. Shoot. Anyway. Yeah, I don't think I can show you what that looks like. But, there is a bolt up top that you got to get out. If you let your transmission down, once that once the brace is out, that cross beam, the transmission will come down, and then you can get up in there with a, I used a 3/8 extension with a swivel and a 15 millimeter deep socket, and that got it out. So, it's a little bit of work, but you can do it. So now I have basically those 2 bolts on that side. There's 2 bolts that correspond to the other side, and then there's the 2 bolts on the bottom here, which are, well, you can see them right in there. So anyway, that's what we got to work on now, is getting the rest of these bolts out. Alright, so we're now under here. I have all the bolts out, and I kind of just grabbed the tail and shook it, and the transmission broke away from the motor, which is good. That's what we want. So hopefully it's free on both sides, but I don't know. It seems like it's not free on the right side, and I thought I got all the bolts. So I have to go double check and make sure. And hopefully it's not just hanging up on something. But anyway, guys, that's it. It's loose. All those bolts are out. And we're going to get this thing lowered down here, hopefully. We'll see what happens. Okay, guys, so it's free. And it's wiggling. So you can see it's free. Now I'm going to try and lower this thing down and see what happens. So I don't know. It's either going to be good or bad. I'm praying good. Look at that, huh? Oh, very nice. Oh my God. I am absolutely impressed at how well that went. Man, I never cease to amaze myself. All right, so let's talk about a couple things while this thing is down. So behind that there with teeth on it, that is called a flex plate in an automatic transmission that is a flex plate. In a standard 5-speed or whatever, that would be a flywheel. So, behind that is the rear main seal. Let's get this thing out of the way. Alright, that's better. So behind that flex plate is the rear main seal, and I had that replaced probably, I don't know, probably, gosh, 8-9 years ago or something. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the flex plate off, and I think I'm gonna replace it. I mean, it's one of those things, like, the transmission's down and out of the vehicle. Why would you not, right? I mean, I don't know, that's just my opinion for what it's worth. Then, I don't know if I can see it from here. I don't know. I think that's it right there. Let's see, hold on. Let me get this thing focused up. Alright, so up in here, let's see. Let me see if I can tighten it. That right there is your oil pressure sensor, and for whatever reason, oops, let me get that back in frame, sorry. Where is it? There it is. That. For whatever reason, my oil pressure spiked out to 90, and I think it's something to do with this. There's only two ways to get to it. It's either from behind like this, or you have to tear out your intake manifold. So I'm thinking, while this is out, we might replace that too, and hopefully that'll resolve that bad oil reading. Alright, now that I've given you that wonderfully boring information, now I have to go back out. We got to jack the front of this thing back up, otherwise we're never going to get this thing out. In fact, I may not be able to get it out while it's sitting on the actual jack. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Something else too I wanted to show you. So this is the tail mount, and I don't know if you can see it or not, how well you can or can't see it, but there's a crack in there. Let me get a light. Let's see. There you go. So you can see that mount's cracked too. So something else I think we'll replace when we put the other transmission in is we'll put a new mount in. We'll put a new seal on the tail, and then we'll put a seal in the front also. And I think that'll do it as far as like additional parts and repairs. Anyway, old transmission is down. I got to get it out, and then we'll close this thing out. Okay guys, so here we are with the transmission out. We used our Harbor Freight transmission jack, which performed flawlessly. Again, this one did have the bolt in the top, which you can see here. That wasn't too bad. Again, I have my 3/8 extensions here, which you can see. This is the one I used with the little swivel on it, and a 15 millimeter socket, and that got that out without any issues at all. So that was nice and easy. So the key was getting the cross member out. That way the tail would sag on the transmission, and I was able to get right in there. Some people say there's like another bracket or something, and it has a 13 millimeter bolt, and then like maybe a ground strap, but there was nothing there for this like that. It was just the one 15 millimeter bolt, so that was nice because it was less complicated. Other than that, you can see it was what, another 6-7 bolts, and it was out, so wasn't that bad. So now I'm going to count the pins on this electrical piece here on the side. I don't know if you guys can see that. Well, you can't from there anyway. Let's turn it. I don't care how dirty this thing gets. So right here, that's your socket for the electric transmission or electronic transmission. We will count the pins on that. Go count the pins on the one in the shed. And if they're a match, then we're just going to take the one from the shed, drag it out here and mount it up. Now I'm not going to do that today. I'm beat. And I'm going to do the rear main seal on the back. We're going to replace our oil pressure sensor also. So try and knock out some of those maintenance items while we have this transmission out. Torque converter's over there. That thing looks like it's brand new, so, and I think someone had replaced this thing before too. So anyway, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call it here. Oh, you know what? I do want to show you where these transmission lines hook up real quick. So I know I mentioned that in the last video, and they're so high up that it's really almost impossible to see. So let's take you off of here. I'll show you what that is. So where did our lines go in? Over here. So here's where your transmission lines go in. And you can see these are slotted. Those little retention springs clip in there. And that's what holds your lines in, and they're top and bottom, same thing. So that's all you got to do is pop those little retainer clips out. So I wanted to show you that while we had this out. Maybe that'll be helpful to you. Maybe it won't. Maybe you don't care. So let's see. A lot of fun, guys. Let's go ahead and set this bad boy up. All right. So I would not recommend a dirt and pebble driveway. I wish it was paved, but it's not. So you deal with what you got, I guess. So anyway, I'm going to get all this crap cleaned up. I do have my pressure washer that I have an undercarriage attachment. And we're going to just pressure wash this thing underneath, get it nice and clean. Because it's terrible to work under there. It's so greasy and oily from this transmission fluid being flung everywhere. So we'll get that cleaned up. Maybe we'll do a little video on that for fun. So this will conclude part 2. Part 3 will be changing out the rear main seal and that oil pressure gauge. And I just want to say thanks for checking us out, guys. We're here, I don't know, I think it's like noon. It's like, sounds like racetrack out here. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for checking us out. If you like this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up for the like. If you think this is something that somebody else can learn something from, please feel free to share it with them. Any questions or comments, please leave those also. I try to answer everything that you guys put up. And also, if you're viewing this, 99% of my viewers are not subscribers. So if you guys subscribe, you'll get notified every time we upload a video. So just take that into consideration, as it does help the channel out greatly. Thanks so much for those of you that are subscribers. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you here next time on Gray Beer Garage. Remember, and this is certainly a case of it, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. See you next time.